Hi Jarrad, was it hard to sit out of the win that you had on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm not a great football watcher at the best of times, and usually when I've been watching, it's been because I've been injured. So you sort of feel not as helpless. But on the weekend, yeah, it was pretty frustrating. I was at home on the couch by myself, getting pretty animated. So, but no, it was a really good win by the boys, and it's good to go up there and play a quality team in Sydney and come away with the 4 points and showed some really good signs. I think last year we probably most likely would have lost that game, so it just shows the resolve of the boys and some really good things going forward.
You were there for you, Jarrad, or is it gone now?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe Mace has taken my spot, but no, we've obviously played a bit of footy together, Mace, Brownie and I. Jack's obviously down there as well, so might have to give the coach a bit of a call and just give him a bit of a pump up. So give him a team spot back, but nah. See what happens this week, but should be fine.
I understand you've taken on a bit of a mentoring role with Mason. Can you tell us about how that's worked?
Yeah, obviously we just work together as a forward group. We play very similar in the way we sort of go about it, so it's pretty easy just to sort of have a chat to him. We get along really, really well. So yeah, it's not really a mentor role for me. It's just more having a chat with him, trying to get him better and to play some really consistent footy going forward for the club.
Jarrad, was that a scheduled management for you, or were you just sore from the previous week?
No, in previous years I've probably rested when I've been sore. So I think when you're at that stage it's too late. So like I've sort of said the last couple of weeks, I've been feeling pretty good. Probably perfect timing. Not sore yet, but I am 35, so managing myself is probably key now. And previous years I probably just would have played and probably played sore again in the next week, and then you end up getting injured. So hopefully this has just held me in good stead for the next period until the bye, and so that's sort of the plan going forward.
In your last few years at Carlton, you were probably the last person people would have thought that you'd still be playing at the age of 35, given your extensive injury rap sheet. But are you surprised yourself that you're here? You're playing, and you're probably playing some of the best footy of your career, and you're 35. Does that sort of surprise you as well?
Yeah, obviously when I first came here, I wasn't sure how many games I'd play, but yeah, just really happy with sort of the way the club's managed me and the way we go with our injury prevention stuff. So yeah, I've always had great confidence in my body, and before I sort of 2009, I wasn't too bad injury prone, but since then hasn't been a great run. But that's sort of all behind me now, and I'm just sort of looking forward to this year. And like I said, we've played some really good footy this year, and a lot of teams have underestimated us. So yeah, but we've got a big challenge against Richmond this week. Obviously the reigning premiers. They gave us a bit of a touch-up in JLT. So yeah, it's going to be a really hard challenge for the boys, but I know everyone's looking forward to it.
What's the feeling like at the club? I mean, you were here in the prelim years. Is that sort of that belief sort of starting to creep back into the group?
Yeah, it is, and I think everyone's just playing their role at the moment. I know it's a cliche and every week by week and all that sort of jazz, but the forwards are sort of working together as one, the mids are working together as one, and obviously the back line are working really well together. So when you've got those three groups in unison, it really helps the way you're going about it. So we're quietly confident we can do something really good this year. But like we said, we'll concentrate on Richmond, see what they do well. Obviously they've had some really good wins over the last few weeks, and we just are up for the challenge, and it'll be really exciting.
Just going back to what you said there, you said you feel like some teams have underestimated you. What did you mean by that?
Well, obviously everyone thought we're going to not win a game for the year, and we were quietly confident in the way we sort of go about it, the way training was this year, and we've played some teams in the practice match that really showed us some good lessons, and we've learnt from them really quickly, which we had to. So yeah, we know that sort of the outside perception of what we are about this year hasn't been the most positive, but internally we're really excited the way we're going and knowing that we can do something well.
So where you are right now doesn't surprise you internally?
No, not at all. No.
So do you use the naysayers pre-season prediction? I mean, you were widely tipped to win the Wooden Spoon. Have you guys used that to sort of fuel what's been going on the first?
Nah, you can't do that. You can just, all you worry about is what's in your four walls and what you need to do better as a club and as a team and then individually. So obviously we want to perform extremely well. We've had a couple of, I suppose, quiet weeks when you just can't these days in the way the competition's going at the moment. It's so close, and you're off the mark 5 or 10%, you sort of get shown up, which I suppose against Port Adelaide, that's the way we sort of were. So, but yeah, but we're quietly confident in how we're going.
The level of to be back on a win this week, Jarrad. How do you think that 3 tall forward line structure is going to work?
Yeah, obviously we lost Ed Vickers-Willis on the weekend, so that means someone might have to go back. So maybe sneak up to that wing, but there's many players that can sort of play that wing role, wing half forward. So I think that's been a really good thing for us this year. We've had so much variety in positions, a few more different blokes going through the midfield, in the forward line as well, and a couple of kids coming into the back line like Ed. Obviously he's out for a bit of time now, but just shows that the flexibility of the team at the moment, which probably for the last couple of years we probably haven't had.
Sorry, with that level of footy you've been able to play so far this year, do you feel like your desire to play on has been vindicated to a large degree?
Yeah, obviously you always want to play footy for as long as you can, and I've felt last year my form was good enough, and I felt like I could contribute this year. So if I didn't think that was going to be the case, I would have retired at the end of last year, but I still feel like I've got some good footy for the club. So yeah, and obviously the form helps, the way the team's going it definitely helps, and so yeah, it just sort of justifies it, I suppose, a little bit.
And how are you approaching this year? I mean, is it any different to you have the last few? Is it just sort of taking it as it comes?
Just yeah, as it comes, and like I said, if I feel like I've potentially got a lot to give to the club, then I want to play on, but I know I'm 35, 36 next year. I know the window's closing pretty rapidly, so I'll just treating every game and as it is in its merit, and trying to perform the best as I can.
Seen with the Tigers, particularly in recent weeks, no one's been able to go with them late in games. What gives you the confidence you can go with them for 4 quarters?
I think we've got a really good defensive structure that we sort of have been working on that can help us in sort of games. And obviously Sydney are such a great team, and it's wouldn't think in obviously my time at North that they've sort of been in front. We've managed to get back in front and hold the lead. So we're pretty confident the way our fitness is going. And like I said, the way the whole team's playing holds us a little bit confident.
It's obviously Eddie had Dame this week. Richmond have proven that obviously they're a great team regardless, but they're especially strong at the MCG. Do you reckon that gives you possibly a slight advantage?
Maybe 15, 20 years ago, but nah, you play at so many different grounds these days, and that doesn't really come into it, I don't think. Unless you're playing down in Tassie where it's windy and it's freezing, that definitely comes into it. But yeah, Eddie had under the roof, like obviously they move the ball really well, and in perfect conditions, it's going to be really challenging for us. But we're confident that we can go with them and potentially get another win.
I know you played down the mentoring side of things earlier, but can you give us an insight into how guys like Ben Mackay and Sam Durden, these sort of guys are going?
Yeah, they're going really well. So they've had a bit of a change up in role. They're sort of playing down back. So unfortunately for the two of them, they're going really well. That's not unfortunate, but the boys that are sort of holding them out of their spots, like your Taz and your Scotty Thompson and even Madge, who's played that role this year, it's really competitive at the moment, and it's where you want your club to be. You want blokes from underneath pushing up and performing really well. And like we said before, like Mace come in last week, and that potentially puts my spot at danger, and I know that. So that's a really good thing for the team, and probably haven't had that last couple of years. The younger boys have really started to develop this year, and it's exciting for the footy club.
You and Ben Brown being probably one of the most damaging key forward duos this year so far. Are you confident you guys will be able to have the same effect, absorbing Mason Wood's presence on the forward line as well?
Yeah, the way Mason plays, obviously saw him on the weekend, he gets up nice and high, he takes those really good marks. So yeah, I think he will fit in nicely to the way we were sort of going. So yeah, I'm excited to sort of get back out there and have a go with a sort of a new look forward line, which we probably haven't had for a couple of years, with Jack being down there majority of it more. So it's it's pretty exciting.
Jarrad, why is Ben Jacob so important to your side? I mean, I think you're 17-5 or something in his last 22 games. What does he bring that's so important?
You just internally know what he's going to bring. He always goes on the best player, and even on the weekend he sort of had 3 or 4 different roles, and he just gets the job done. And on the weekend he was damaging with the foot as well. I think he nearly had 30 possessions. So he's not only just a shutdown player, he can get the ball, and he's kicked a few goals this year, a couple of goals this year. So very important to us. We've really missed him over the last couple of years when he's been out, and I know when we sort of did well in the finals a couple of years ago, he was very, very, very important for us.
Just a quick one, Brad Scott. I mean, people are sort of already naming him possibly as the coach of the year already. Have you noticed? Did you notice him probably in career best form at the moment?
Oh,
Comment on that?
I wouldn't say that. No, he's a really good coach and he adapts really well. And I think as a coach these days, you sort of, if something's not working, you have to, I don't know, it's like any player, you have to sort of look at yourself and work out where you can improve. But he's been really good to me since I ever got here. And if he gets Coach of the Year, that's great. But what is it, round 8? So we'll see what happens at the end of round 23.
Did you debate the coach when he came to you and said, yeah, we need you to sit down for a week, or had you sort of taken on, I guess, the lessons of the last couple of years?
Yeah, obviously, if you ask any player, they'll play if they can't walk, they'll play anything, and the detriment of the own player. So yeah, I definitely came into this year thinking that I wouldn't play every game. I'd like to have a couple of rests. So I was totally fine with the decision because I know in the long run it will be better for me personally.